Hello everyone and welcome back to Kentucky Garden Gal. I am Nancy. It is Thursday. This is a Thrifting Thursday video, but there aren't going to be any treasures because so often I get calls and questions from people who are interested in selling their whatever online, or they're often wanting to know, how can you sell something? And obviously you want to make a profit off of it, or you want to get what it's worth. If you're just simply wanting to clean out something and get rid of it, take it to Goodwill. That's probably the easiest thing to do there. But in this video, I'm going to share strictly my experiences. And this is the middle of October, and in the winter months, something that I like to do is list items on Mercari, and we'll go into that just a little bit later. So if you are interested in, maybe you want to make a YouTube channel, maybe you want to start a blog, it has to be something that you are already interested and passionate about, because you want to find your niche. I think I'm saying that right. Niche or niche. I'm not sure which one it is. But what that means is you want to find the people who are like-minded like you. So, for me, I'm nearly 60 years old. I live in a historic house. I love thrifting. I love to garden. And I love cooking comfort food. So those are the things primarily that my channel is about. Now, when it comes to selling, what am I selling? I'm selling my overflow. Things that I've picked up that maybe I wanted for a special occasion that I no longer need. And I'm like, I'm going to put that on Mercari and see if I can get some money for it. So I want to give you two examples of why it's so important to, if you're going to do something like this, why it's so important to do what you are so passionate about. And this involves my former husband, Craig, and his twin brother, Alan. And they would both be, I think they just turned 64 their birthday. So from a very young age, I'm talking probably late teenager, Craig was always interested in guns, specifically Colt single actions. Our first son, his name is Colton, C-O-L-T-O-N, after the Colt. And then his brother, Alan, he loved anything electronics. And neither one of them went to school for this. It was something that they would just, for Craig, he would just start picking up guns, back then. We're talking back in late 70s, early 80s. But, you could buy guns at a yard sale. There weren't all these laws and regulations on it like it is now, which, I hope you're not offended by guns. That's not the point. I'm just telling you how it's evolved for both of them. So Craig was very interested in learning about guns, specifically the Colt single actions. And all these years later, not only does he have an impressive collection, but he is very well known, and people will often call him to ask about, a certain gun, its value, just whatever. Lucy's come to say hello. You want to say hello? You want to say hello? But anyways, and then Alan, his twin brother, he really got into the red lights and sirens for emergency vehicles. So with these two things, both of these men have been able, this wasn't their full-time job. Craig was in law enforcement, but they have been able to supplement their income all these years because it's something that they loved. And so that's what I would encourage you to do. And it doesn't matter what it is. There's somebody out there that is like you, that loves what you do. So that's the first thing that you have to figure out is, what is your passion? You know, who is your target audience? And, you know, what are you wanting to do? So in my case, I just want to get rid of some of the clutter. That's mainly what I want to do when I'm selling, is to just get rid of some of the clutter. And sometimes, you know, I have done this enough, and I will tell you that getting out there, you know, if you can dedicate going to a thrift store or a Goodwill, or even looking at Facebook Marketplace, you know, if you can do that on a weekly basis, you will see what things are selling for. And you may not have a bit of interest in it, but at least you're going to know if you see something, hey, I just saw that sale for X amount of dollars. And that's kind of how you keep in the loop. Now, there's two people that I follow on YouTube, and I'm going to give you both of their channels. One who is the Texan Picker, and this is what he does. He does have a full-time job, but he goes around, I think he does shift work, but he goes around at night a couple times a week with a truck and a trailer on trash days in like the ritzy neighborhoods, and I'm not sure what town in Texas he lives in. I don't really know that. But it is amazing the stuff that he finds. And, you know, he is just, he's a go-getter. But what he does, the things that he's looking for are things, he has a Macari, so things that he can sell on Macari. He does sell things on Facebook Marketplace, so things that he thinks he could sell on that. He is also wonderful about picking up clothing that he donates to this certain, I think it's something Angels. I think it helps maybe vets get back on their feet or something. I'm not certain of that. But the point is, people will throw away perfectly good clothes or cookware or whatever that maybe he doesn't want to bother reselling, and books often, but he will take and drop this off so that it can help other people. And you know, and the wonderful thing about all of this is that we are saving items from the landfill. You know, just because we don't have a use for it doesn't mean that someone else can't use it. What's that saying? One man's trash is another man's treasure. So, and that's why we call everything that we find thrifting treasures, because they are our treasures. So, let me tell you how I have made extra money in the past. So, and I'll tell you what I liked about it, maybe what didn't work. But one of the things that I really went out kind of on a limb and did, there was a couple who had bought this large building in Franklin, and they were starting, it was a vendor's market. So you would rent a space, and then we were open, I think, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, those 3 days. So you had to physically be there in your booth to sell your items. So, and it was a wonderful experience. I love meeting people. I love talking, you know, but then what I realized was, you know, that 24 hours that I was physically there in the booth, if I wasn't, you know, making sales, that just wasn't using my time wisely. So, and it also, we started this right at the beginning of COVID. So would I do that again? Probably not. Now, you know, I have a lot of responsibilities with Cameron. We homeschool, etc. It just wasn't a good fit for me. It was a good experience for me. I love the people. You know, I still have friends that were vendors there, and it was a great experience, but it's just not something that I think would work for me. So then you might think, well, do I want to rent an antique booth? And, you know, there you have the same thing. You have to sell enough to meet the cost of your booth. So, you know, that's something to consider. And then you're also going to need a way to restock your booth to get fresh merchandise in there. There are consignment shops. That's another, that's another thing where they take a percentage of whatever you're wanting to sell. So that might be something that you consider. Now, another thing that this is so popular, and it always amazes me, but it goes back to the original statement that I made about finding your niche in the market. But I see a lot of these young moms, and they will say house purge on Facebook. And they will, say, follow if you're interested. I've seen household items, I've seen purses, I've seen baby clothes. Those are the three things that I see that get sold in that method just on Facebook. Now, they usually will say, cash only, or they'll have different payment apps. So, that's something that you need to think about is how do you want to get paid? Whatever way you're going. And for me, the safest thing that I have found is PayPal. I do have a PayPal account, and what I like about PayPal is that if I'm buying something, that's also some protection for me. I know there's plenty others, my kids, they're all into that, but I'm a PayPal gal, and it meets my needs, and it's not complicated, and I know how to work the app. So it checks off all the marks. So why would you sell on Facebook Marketplace? Facebook Marketplace is a great way to get to sell large items, and it's every category that you could think of. Whatever you're wanting to sell, there's a category for that. Now, we have to talk about scammers, because there's scammers in everything. Scammers are just in every area of our life. Somebody has figured out a way to be disingenuous. That's life. And I think on Facebook Marketplace, there's something about a code or something. And, I've done this long enough, both buying and selling, that I have just kind of, if something doesn't look right, I don't even bother with it. I just don't respond. Now, I want to tell you the things that I have had the best luck selling on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to tell you all my secrets in this video, but you know what? There's plenty enough for everybody. We don't have to be selfish or greedy. There's plenty to go around. So one of the things that I always pick up if I'm thrifting or yard selling is Mr. Christmas items. And my first experience, I think I found some ornaments at a Goodwill in Middlesboro, Kentucky. Now, I do keep a lot of things for myself, but if I'm not particularly interested, I know that I can pick that up, and it's a quick turnover. If it's something big, I put it on Facebook Marketplace. Now, Facebook Marketplace does have shipping. So, shipping is going to be a big concern if you're trying to sell, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But if it's something small like ornaments, and this particular company, they make larger things. They make like carousels and big music boxes and things like that. But if you ever find anything that says Mr. Christmas, that's something that you can turn over. You can turn that over really quick. And I always put $50, and I've never gotten less than $50. So whatever you're paying for it, you can put $50 on it, and you can sell it. So that is one item that I like to look for when I'm out thrifting all year long. And then at Christmas time, you've got that tucked back away that you can sell. So let's talk about Mercari. I know that Poshmark and Mercari are two online sites that you can sell things, and I have used Mercari. That's what I have experience with. There's Etsy, there's eBay, different things like that. And one of the ladies that I want to give you the name of, she is Karen. Her YouTube channel is Lavender Clothesline, and she has been doing this for years. I mean, I really do make sure once a week I catch one of her videos because it just kind of keeps me up on what things are going for. I think she's been doing this for 12 years, and she is what she calls a long tail seller. That means that you find something, you know it's good quality, you list it, and you just leave it there until it sells. And it doesn't matter, you know, how long it takes. You know you've got a good item, whatever it may be. You know what it's worth, and somebody's going to come along and they're going to want it and they're going to buy it. And that's what I do. You know, a lot of this, if you can make extra money, then that's wonderful. You've got maybe money to reinvest, or if you're wanting to do a project, or, you know, I may use my money to buy roses, you know, just whatever your purpose for selling is. But Karen from Lavender Clothesline, she makes over $100,000 a year just on eBay sales. Now, she truly has a business. This is her full-time job. She is dedicated. The way she has everything organized in her basement, I just love to watch her. She's super organized, and she tells you, I think she has an Instagram account, and you can see, she'll show you sometimes what she's buying in Goodwills or yard sales, and then you can go on Instagram and see what it's sold for. And she'll also, when she packs stuff up, she's really good about showing you how to pack items. And when I was saying that you have to be careful with your shipping, when you are selling online, shipping can be your number one reason that you're not making money. So you want to make sure that if you are paying for the shipping, you want to make sure that your item is priced enough that you're going to make a profit. And what I prefer is to let the buyer pay shipping on everything. That just works better for me. You know, like I said, I'm in it for the long haul, so if it sits there, it's fine. You know, usually it's not losing value, it's just, sometimes it's even growing in value. So be careful with your shipping, because the post office is very specific about weight and lengths if you're gonna box something up. So that's something that if you're interested in selling online, you need to learn about. You need to learn about your shipping options. That is a big deal. Now let's go back to Mercari. So one of the things that I like about Mercari is that you have an option that if you are going to be out of town, like if I'm going to the farm and I'm not physically at my house to be able to ship items, then I put my account that I'm on vacation or away or whatever. Because when you're selling online, it doesn't matter what form you're using, you want to be responsive. That is, and generally, everybody is graded. You as a buyer, you as a seller. So if you're making responsible transactions and everything goes well, then you're going to have a high rating. And that really goes a long way, because even when I buy on Amazon, I go and look at the reviews. You know, if this person just has horrible reviews, or this product doesn't have good reviews, I go to something else. I mean, you know, we are just in that age where we do have the options to see how people operate. So, like I said, shipping if you're going to use Mercari. Now, the IRS has gotten involved, and most places that you sign up to be a seller, you are going to fill out some tax paperwork for the IRS, because if you make, I think it's, I'm not sure if it's 400 or 600, they are going to send you a 1099 and you'll have to pay taxes on that. And just make sure that when you do buy, you're saving your receipts. You know, you are saving your receipts. So I've told you about Karen from Lavender Clothesline and Juan from Texas Pickers. We've talked about doing vendor markets. Now there's also flea markets, and some people love that. I think in some places I've been, there has even, like, people can leave their stuff there. Maybe I guess they I don't know, I guess they rent the booth and then they can leave their stuff there. And that's really the only drawback that I have about yard sales and going to flea markets to sell. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. But if you have a truck or a trailer load of stuff and you're like, you know what, I need this gone. And it's a one-time thing where you run down, like for us, maybe the Nashville flea market. You go down there and, set up and stay a day or two. You can get rid of things fairly quick. Now, one of the things, and this all depends on area too. So, I'm in South Central Kentucky, so that's the market that I have. When I am in East Tennessee, especially in the Eastern Kentucky, Eastern Tennessee, and Eastern Virginia area, you see a lot of what I call boot sales, where especially on Saturday mornings, people will just bring stuff in their truck or trailer and they just set it out. And it's always fun because you don't ever know what you're going to find. So, and that's also a great time to barter. And let's talk about that, because I think that's important both as a buyer and as a seller. And this is where, when you have found your niche, that's how I'm going to say it, and your passion, and you know what you have, and you know if you're collecting, what you're collecting, what it's going for. If you come across something and you're like, that's just really way overpriced, then offer a lower price. All they can do is say no. And oftentimes, I know that on Mercari, I had some John Hardy, I had a necklace, a set. I had a necklace and earrings, and I knew that was worth $1,500. Like, that was the price. I wasn't going, $14.98. It was worth that. And that was the thing that I got the most offers on, but it was low offers that I'm like, no, thank you. I'm not interested in that. So that's how it works, kind of both ways. But if you're knowledgeable and you know what you have, or you know what you're buying and you know what it's worth, then usually I think both the buyer and the seller is happy. And I do a lot of thrifting, so you've seen the things that I've done shopping in Goodwills and thrift stores. And I wanted to tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I was at the Portland Cares, and I came across, I always look at silverware. So I came across these 7 knives, and as soon as I laid eyes on them, I was like, that's good quality. Like, I saw it. And then I always tell you, I trust my touch. Like, I can pick up something and I just know, whether it's fabric, whether, it's, I start looking for marks on different things. And on this particular, these 7 knives, I just liked them. And I think I went back and looked, and they were 50 cents a piece. So I was in $3.50. And I looked those up a few days later, and those are selling on eBay all day long, $15 a piece. So that's something that I'm going to list on Mercari because, you know, I mean, I like them, but it's something that I would rather make a profit on than I would rather keep. Now, another thing, and this is just me, and you will find out what you're interested in, but these are things that I am always shocked at what brings big money. Like the dress clothes for ladies, and especially the larger size, and I'm talking large and extra large and maybe even a 1X. Those three right there, you can really, you know, you can turn a profit on things. If you're going to Goodwills and you're shopping, you want to go on Sundays, and most Goodwills, they have 99 cents on a certain tag. So if you're going and you're going to look through the dresses and you're looking for the color and you're only in for 99 cents, you know, even if you sell it for $25 and the buyer pays shipping, that's a good profit. I mean, you know, you do have to find a way to store it, to keep it stored. So, you know, and that's another thing. You know, always be very truthful. It doesn't matter what platform you're selling on. Always be very, very truthful about the flaws in something. And, you know, one of my tricks in Goodwill is if I see something, and a lot of the resellers do this, I go ahead and put it in my basket, and then when I'm finished, I go back through my basket and I really, you know, I usually try to go somewhere that's maybe a little bit quieter, and I'll look it over. Sometimes I even look up comps, and sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. You know, you've seen what I've done with buying pots and pans. I mean, that's just one thing. The pots and pans, the ladies' more elegant clothing, men's shoes, men's good shoes, and leather belts. Men will go online and, you know, they will buy those things, but make sure that they're clean. You know, make sure if it's clothing, there's no stains on it. If there is stains, make sure you disclose that. I will not buy anything that has a chip in it. If I'm looking at glassware, because that's an imperfection, and you may know that is a great item, but if it has a chip in it, pass it up. You know, unless you're wanting it for your own personal collection, and then it doesn't really matter, you know, if it has a chip, if you want to turn it around or whatever. So I know that this video is going to be longer and we've covered a lot of things, but I want to talk to you about estate sales. So, like I told you, I'm going to be 60 my next birthday. My kids do not have my taste. They do not appreciate my treasures at all. And that's often the case. And you know what? That's okay. If they do, great. If they don't, you can sell it or they can sell it. And there's so many great options regarding this. So one of the things that I like, and I think there's two things I want to talk about, and either one would be perfect for me. So one is where you have to find a reputable estate company. They come in the house, you basically do nothing. Like my children would come into my house if I were deceased and they were going to do this. They would come into my house, they would take out what they wanted, and then they would call this XYZ estate company, and they would come in and usually they have the sale in the house. And the great thing about this is these companies work off of a reputation. Just like as a seller, you're going to work off of your reputation. People know, you know, you're not out to cheat or fraud or scam. So these estate companies will come in and they do all the work. I'm not sure what the ratio is as far as what the family gets and what the estate company gets, but what I do know is that they are responsible for everything. They price everything, they bring in the tables, and then it usually goes that the first day of the sale, everything is full price. The second day of the sale will be 25% off. The third day of the sale is usually 50% off. So, you know, if you're buying, then you have to, if you want something, depends on how much you want for it, you know, if you want to take your chance and see if it's there on the third day when it's half price, you know, that's a personal decision. But that is something that I have seen that works really well for families. Now, something that I have just noticed that has kind of popped up, and I actually have two friends that have done this. These are called living estate sales. And this is the way it works. This is here in Franklin. It may work different in different areas. But the way that this company does, if somebody is wanting to maybe they're transitioning, they want to downsize, or they're going you know, into assisted living, and they want to go ahead and do this while they're living. So this company will come in and they go through everything. They don't want you to do anything. Like, they basically want to look through every drawer and every closet. And then they take what they want to a warehouse and they price it. They put it online, and then I think it's like a 10-day auction. And from what I have understood from the people that I know that have personally done it, what they got exceeded their expectations. So that's something to think about. Those are two options there. But I think I've told you everything that I know, and I probably could have put it in a better format, but that's just not how I roll. You all know I go down rabbit holes. But I will put all of the links that I talked about in the comments, and that way you can start following these people. But there's nothing wrong with being a reseller. And so many things that I talk about, it's your mindset. You know, in your mind, is it okay to buy secondhand, to shop thrift stores? And then, you know, is it okay to resell? And, you know, I've just never, I've never had the money to do everything retail. That's just, you know, that's just my lot in life, and I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly happy. But, you know, it's just amazing what you can find that you can buy, you can use, or you can resell. So whatever you decide to do, I hope that this has helped you. And if you have any personal experiences, put it in the comments. You know, talk amongst yourselves and say, hey, this worked for me. Kind of tell us where you are so we know what the locations are. You know, obviously California, Kentucky, and New York, it's going to be a little bit different. So put, you know, where you are and what your experience has been, good or bad. You know, let people know, because we're all here to help each other. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that it has encouraged you, and I hope that it gets you thrifting and maybe even reselling. So thanks so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.